Welcome in, everyone. It was all a dream, the sports show. The Atlanta Dream didn't just make a move, they shifted the league's energy overnight when Angel Reese arrived. Ticket demand surged 15 times, turning the team into a sold out, viral, must watch phenomenon. Is this the moment the WNBA fully crosses into mainstream cultural dominance, or is it star driven hype that fades over time? I, I think Angel Reese didn't just boost the dream, she shifted the WNBA's cultural gravity, proving that one star with massive visibility can instantly change demand relevance. And the way casual fans engage with the league is changed as well. The real test is now whether the league is prepared to match that. Because if they can convert that spike into sustained momentum by building storylines. I know they had the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese storyline before. That's old. I'm talking new storylines, new rivalries, and team identities. That's going to keep new fans invested long after the initial hype cools down. Okay, this always comes up, so let's talk about it. Charles Barkley says 5 players are untouchable in NBA history: Michael Jordan, Oscar Robertson, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul Jabbar, and Wilt Chamberlain, leaving LeBron James and Kobe Bryant outside his top 5. He stayed consistent over time, arguing that his core group that he mentioned represents a level of greatness no one has surpassed. Is it fair to lock a top 5 across eras? Or should players like LeBron and Kobe force a constant reshaping of basketball's greatest tier? I'm telling you, looking across a top 5 across eras, it doesn't hold up, because the game has evolved so dramatically that greatness has to be reinterpreted. New players redefine what's possible. LeBron and Kobe, they didn't just pass legends, they expanded the blueprint. LeBron is still expanding the blueprint. So, a measure of his greatness, you can't talk about it right now. He's still building it. So, that means that the greatest tier has to change because the blueprint changed. And I think we should always be open to reshaping things as the sport changes. I think everybody should be considered that. AZ Fudd credited the DMV's competitiveness for shaping her into the first number 1 pick from the area, calling it the foundation of who she is. For those who don't know, that's DC, Maryland, and Virginia, the DMV. She's also excited to reunite with Paige Beckers on the Dallas Wings, saying injuries limited their time together before and there's still untapped potential. How dangerous can Fudd and Beckers be together if they finally get a full, healthy season to build chemistry? Well, I think we're looking at maybe the greatest Batman and Robin that had an opportunity to play together at the highest level and stayed together. What they built in college, if that same partnership is allowed to transfer, meaning there's a lot of factors. The supporting cast that they had in college, you have to hope that the supporting cast with the Wings understands we got a Batman and Robin. We need to do what we can on the peripherals. You have to hope that the coach is smart enough to realize what the coach has in the Batman and Robin and how to use those people on the peripherals. You got to hope that the general manager does a good job of bringing in people that can exist on the peripherals of these two. There's a lot to it. It's not just on them. And I don't want their legacy to be overshadowed by the performance because, as I've said before, the players don't run the organization. The organization has to want Fudd and Beckers to be the greatest duo there ever was that came out of college. Time will tell. Photos of Dianna Russini and Mike Vrabel at an Arizona resort sparked controversy over a possible conflict of interest, leading to Russini's resignation from The Athletic, despite both denying wrongdoing. The situation raised major questions about journalistic ethics, workplace standards, and how media organizations handle perception versus proof. At what point does a reporter's personal life cross the line into a professional conflict of interest? And who should ultimately decide that boundary? The public, the employer, or the journalists themselves? Well, Dianna messed up. Dianna, you're married. And so you ruined the whole thing. We won't know. We won't know what the opportunities would be to define this until we have maybe two single people that don't have to hide. You're never guilty until you get caught, right? And then when you get caught, you deny. Yes, none of us are in the bedroom. None of us know what happens in the bedroom. We can only talk about what is seen. Excessive hugging, uncomfortable hugging, inappropriate touching, hand holding. That's what we got to go on, Dianna. And Mike, why are you not fired? That's all I'm saying. Why is Mike Vrabel not fired? Because the Patriots are protecting him. Now, the Celtics didn't do that. When the opportunity was for Ime Udoka, he did what he did on Nia Long. Tragic. That was reason enough for him to be gone. If you have a standard, and the standard is we don't want to cause distractions. We don't want to do anything that will distract the players, that will cast us in a bad light. Mike, you done did it. She's a married woman. And then you both want to deny the wrongdoing. So you done did it twice, bro. You did it twice. Got caught. Patriots got your back for now. You had a great run. Your schedule's going to get a lot harder this year. And let's see how much they have of your back as this drags on throughout the year. And now you with your harder schedule, Stephon Diggs is out. So we got to see what's going to happen with this team with injuries. We'll find out. The Lakers' success may hinge on DeAndre Ayton's his ability to embrace his role, bringing energy, defense, and something you've never really had for DeAndre Ayton's career, consistency, even if it's not star level usage. At the same time, Ayton's future and value depend on buying into that system and delivering nightly impact. Is Ayton better off accepting a role player identity to help the Lakers win, or should he push for a bigger offensive role to prove he's still a star? Bro, you got a role to play. I know you got drafted, you got shipped off, and here you are. And I know everybody likes to say, "Oh, I'm not going to be a Clint Capella. I'm not going to be the guy that just catches lobs." Bro, you in the league, and if it's something you're good at, this is your opportunity. You can worry about making changes later, but while you have the athleticism to play above the rim and be a rim rocker and play with one of the greatest of all time, twice. Luka is one of the greatest of all time already. LeBron is one of the greatest of all time and has been for a while. Austin Reeves is a great third player. And now you got Luke Kennard out here with back-to-back games of 20-plus points. That boy said, "I'm the best three-point shooter in the league. And if y'all gonna let me let it fly, I'm a splash." DeAndre, don't mess that up, bro. Y'all up 2-0 as of the day of this filming. Don't mess it up. Play a position. Literally. Victor Wembanyama left game 2 after a hard fall to a concussion, and he was ruled out as the San Antonio Spurs lost 106-103 to the Portland Trailblazers, tying the series 1-1. His status moving forward is uncertain as he enters protocol ahead of game 3. If Wembanyama misses time, how does that shift the series? And what does it reveal about the Spurs' ability to win without their star? Well, here's what I can tell you. It's going to be hard to win without Wembanyama. You guys had a 14-point lead going in the fourth quarter of game 2 and lost it. You want to know why? Because as soon as he left the court, everybody realized we have an opening on aisle 2. We have free stuff on aisle 2. When you hear that, what's everybody do? They run to aisle 2. Dudes was coming down the lane. David Avija came down the lane and did a Euro step stop. You ain't doing that on Wemby because you either need to keep your momentum, your movement going forward, but you're going to pull up to a stop. No, not when that alien is standing there in the lane. You have no momentum going up, and so you can't just throw a lob. Listen, I know Kornet came in and played good, but he ain't the alien. He's not the unanimous defensive player of the year. Of course, you're going to lose a lot. And the Spurs' ability to win without their star, don't nobody want to face it. They don't want to answer that. They don't want to find out. You don't want to take on this opportunity without Wembanyama. They got a long road to go. But hey, go Spurs, go. The 2026 NBA playoffs are underway, with the top seeds looking strong, but some still vulnerable to early upsets as the stars rise and new players break out. The Los Angeles Lakers lead the Houston Rockets 2-0 behind big performances from LeBron James, while Kevin Durant makes his impact felt despite his injury concerns. Are the Lakers truly in control of this series, or can Houston shift momentum once they get back home? Y'all in trouble. Houston, we have a problem. 2-0, y'all needed to split. Because here's what it is. You have an aging Kevin Durant. The Lakers have figured out, put the ball in Kevin Durant's hands and make him make a decision. Y'all ever... we always say he's a great 7-footer, right? But we never said he was a point center or point power forward. We never said that because Kevin Durant, he ain't built like that. He is not a point guard in a 7-footer's body. Decision-making, that's a different part of the game. Fire and forget, that's what he does. The Lakers have figured that out. Other players, it's a young team around him. Fred VanVleet is out. So, it's unfair. Y'all got a good coach. Ime Udoka, we just talked about him earlier, but look how much work Kevin Durant has to do now, down 2-0, heading back to Houston. I'm not saying they can't go back to Houston and win some home games, but what I am saying is the toll on Kevin Durant's body to lean on him to step up. That's the problem. What we're doing here is we're buying time for the Lakers to get healthy. And if they get healthy, that is going to be more of a problem. Right now, look, y'all can't stop Marcus Smart, Luke Kennard, DeAndre Ayton, Rui Hachimura. Like, you can't stop them. Now you got higher level players, Luka and Austin Reeves on the mend. You got problems, Houston. You had your opportunity. I'm not saying it's over, but it's going to be a long road. All right. The series is tied 1-1 after Minnesota's Game 2 steal, powered by Rudy Gobert's defense on Nikola Jokic and a 70-point trio from Randall, DiVincenzo, and Edwards. The biggest variable heading into game 3 is how Anthony Edwards' knee holds up as his workload ramps back up. How much does Minnesota's ceiling in this series depend on Edwards' ability to sustain that workload? And what adjustments should Denver make if he looks fully explosive again in game 3? There's nothing you can do. Ant-Man is perhaps the most accomplished, incredible athlete in the league. When I say accomplished, he's been to the Olympics. His peers know that he is a winner. He has proven that he can carry a team, and he's athletic. Y'all better hope that knee slows this boy down, because if he comes back to what he was, Denver is about to be spending some time outside of cold Colorado, and they're going to be heading to Mexico. They got Randall, who is used to being a number one guy. DiVincenzo, listen, they broke up the Villanova boys, but he's on a team that respects and wants him to shoot that three whenever he wants. And he gives you more than that. He's a 3-and-D guy. Okay. That's what you got to deal with, Denver. Oklahoma City overwhelmed Phoenix in game 1 with a 35-point rout, fueled by 21 points off of turnovers and a dominant two-way showing from Jalen Williams. The Suns now enter game 2, needing a defensive answer for Williams, whose paint penetration and playmaking punished every matchup adjustment. What defensive adjustments should Phoenix prioritize to keep Jalen Williams from controlling the non-SGA minutes again? And which matchup gives them the best chance to stabilize this series? I think you're going to have to try your best to get Chet Holmgren off of his game. Chet can't be in there. Chet throwing Chet up, creating a Chet storm. I mean, y'all get what I'm saying. You can't deal with Jalen Williams, SGA, and Chet. So what I'm offering you, shut down Chet. You ain't stopping potentially back-to-back MVP. And Jalen Williams is a beast. Offensively and defensively, he brings it. Chet shows up. Chet is 7 foot. Do you notice the lack of confidence there on him being a superstar? Oh, he's good for sound bites. He's good for headlines. But you're going to make him a headline with his play if you don't try to exploit that matchup. Somebody's got to drive to that hole and start racking up fouls on Chet. Get him out of the game. That's the way you do it. Mess up their cute little storybook rotation that they got. Get Chet out the game. Y'all ain't got Phoenix. Y'all ain't got nobody on your team that's a tough guy that can go in there, get under Chet's skin. I've said before, I don't like playing dirty, but you could play tough. You can bump people and get them out their rhythm. Those who've played pickup, organized, college, you know that one skinny guy, not the skinny strong guy, but the skinny guy. That skinny guy don't like that contact. Put that body on him. Throw some bodies at him. That's the adjustment. That's where you have to exploit. That's the weakness. The Washington Commanders entered the 2026 draft with 6 picks and a flexible approach at number 7, where general manager Adam Peters appears focused on taking the best long-term impact player rather than reaching for positional need. Their visits and meetings show interest across the defensive board and at wide receiver, to include a guy out of the Naval Academy, which isn't too far down the road for them, signaling a wide open set of options depending on how the top of the draft unfolds. How should the Commanders balance immediate needs versus long-term upside at number 7? And which position would make the biggest impact on their 2026 identity? I think that Washington should lean into long-term impact at number 7, which is where the general manager is going. Oh, you know what? We hired him to make the decisions. Let's go with his decision. Don't nobody get into his ear. You thought y'all have been making some great decisions up to this point. Let that man cook. Let him cook. Adam Peters, do you? AP. If you say long-term impact at number 7, there can't be any second guessing or anybody else coming in because their roster still needs foundational pieces. You've got a great quarterback. We got to work on his sliding. We got to let him be a little less reckless. But this draft gives them a chance to land a true difference maker on defense or a high-end wide receiver 2. With new coordinators and a flexible scheme, taking the best player available, regardless of position, sets them up better than forcing a need pick in a year where they're still building their identity. We'll see if the Commanders listen. I mean, I just offered y'all. We'll see what they say. Major League Baseball's new ABS challenge system gives each team 2 chances to dispute ball strike calls, with successful challenges preserved and 2 misses ending their opportunities. Early data shows wide variation in success rates across hitters, pitchers, catchers, and teams, highlighting who's mastering the system and who's struggling to adapt. How much do you think the ABS challenge system is actually influencing in-game strategy so far? And which group, the hitters, the pitchers, the catchers, or umpires, stands to benefit the most as teams get smarter with it? I mean, me personally, I've mentioned this before, the ABS challenge system, it's already shaping the strategy. We're 23 games in as of today's recording because teams are learning which players, especially catchers, can reliably steal or save strikes. And that's creating a real competitive advantage, competitive edge. You know, framing. As the season goes on, the teams that treat challenges as a skill rather than a bailout, they're going to squeeze the most value out of it, and they'll force everyone else to adjust. Y'all gotta evolve. That's the key. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear publicly questioned the University of Kentucky's leadership after the school awarded retiring AD Mitch Barnhart a $1 million role with no defined duties, adding to growing scrutiny during a turbulent stretch for UK athletics. The criticism comes as both the football and men's basketball programs face performance setbacks and recruiting challenges, raising broader concerns about decision-making and direction. How should Kentucky fans interpret the governor stepping in so forcefully? Is this a sign of deeper institutional issues or simply a reaction to a single controversial decision? Let me tell y'all, a lot of people see the governor's comments as a reaction more than just one job offer. They point to a lot of broader concerns that UK has, like transparency, donor influence, and the overall direction of Kentucky athletics, especially during a down period that y'all are in right now for both football and men's basketball. See, when men's basketball is good, Kentucky, they chill. They all right. They can take that licking, finger licking. They can take that licking on the football field and say, all right, we're going to see y'all on the basketball court. But that ain't how they living right now. So everybody, to include the governor, got something to say. And they're in their feelings. Others view it as a high-profile push for accountability at a moment when fans and stakeholders They're already questioning leadership decisions on and off the field. Y'all are turning on yourselves, UK. That's what y'all doing. Y'all turning on yourselves. Clean it up. Relax. Y'all are experiencing a little momentary downward period. We've all been through it. I'm sorry this is just now happening for y'all. And you're realizing it's been a while since you had a championship. You expected more. You're going to be all right.